What's up guys, it's Stello. Here is the Red-Eyes Dragonlink deck list and combo tutorial guide. I'll be going over the deck list, the card choices, the combos, and maybe some of the interactions you need to watch out for. But most of that is going to be up to you because this deck requires a lot of freestyling, and it wasn't until Black Meteor Dragon that I finally was able to make a consistent end board that had red eyes monsters that was actually contributing to the end board. Because before this guy came out, it like the best end board you could usually get was just Savage and Borland, but that's not really a red eyes board. That's pretty much just a standard Dragonlink end board. And we are still using the Dragonlink engine with red eyes cards mixed into it, so some people might not even consider this a red eyes deck, which is fine. But this is the best way I've managed to climb the ladder and still find it enjoyable because I love using red eyes cards. And one thing too, I used to have Shadow's Light in this deck along with a bunch of other cards, but depending on how the meta changes for the season, I always change it around. I think I had Shadow's Light when I hit Masters. I'm already in Masters 4, but yeah, I opted to switch out some cards, and these cards make the deck much more consistent than ever before. And one question people might have a lot is, does this deck break? Absolutely. I mean, using Red Eyes Black Dragon, you have a bunch of one-ofs, and this whole row is technically just a bunch of one-of cards, but the good thing is they're mostly extenders and synergize with each other. And that's why I opted to make the deck the way that it is, because most Red Eyes Dragonlink decks that I see showcased usually just try to go for full triple flare metal burn or something like that, and that's nice, but when you're climbing the ladder, it's very hard to make it work because you're gonna get interrupted, you're gonna get tributed. There's just so many interruptions that's gonna happen. And so I wanted to make sure that my deck was able to play through second and or a board, and I've had a couple clips showcasing that already, but I'm gonna get into how it actually works like that. And yeah. First up, we have 2 vanilla Red Eyes Black Dragon, 3 Black Metal Dragons, 1 Rokket Synchron, 3 Maxi, 1 Phantom Knights of Silent Boots, 2 Ash Blossom, 2 Wyver Burster, 1 Collapse Serpent, 2 Tracer, 1 Recharger, 3 Safearts, 1 Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon, 1 Magnum Hut, 1 Saronir, 1 Druis Worm, 1 Blaster, 1 Radiant Kaiju, 1 Absol Router, 1 Noctovision, 1 Miradora, 1 Red-EyesSoul, 1 Bestial Rebellion, 1 Darkness Metal Dragon, 1 Nibiru, 1 for 1, 1 Red Eyes Fusion, 3 Chaos Space, 3 Small World, 1 Dragon Ravine, 1 Boot Sector Launch, 1 Branded Regained, 1 Quick Launch, 2 Called By, 1 Fog Blade, 1 Branded Beast. Now for the extra deck, 1 Red Eyes Slash Dragon, 1 Borload Savage Dragon, 2 Flare Metal Dragons, 1 Pisty, 2 Strikers, 1 Hieratic Seals, 1 Romulus, 1 Delindrous, 1 IP Masquerena, Verte, 1 Access Code, 1 Borland, and 1 Underworld Goddess. Alright, now for the card choices. First up, you have 2 vanilla Red Eyes Black Dragons. You don't want more than 2 of these because it increases the likelihood of you breaking. Plus, we can still get the boss monsters that we need with these 2, so it's fine. And then our main combo starter, which is Black Metal Dragon. We want 3 of these because we want to draw them as much as possible. And then 1 Rokket Synchron. This card helps us get into our optimal end board, and I'll be showcasing that through the combos. And then 3 Maxis. I mean, it's pretty much mandatory to have Maxi, but I like having 3 because I have a lot of one-ofs, so I want to make sure I'm drawing the cards that I need, and I don't really win the coin toss, so I want to be able to play through their board going second. And then 1 Silent Boots, that is for the Slash Dragon Fusion, and 2 Ash Blossoms. For this, like I said, you can have 3 Maxis. It's up to you. You can even have 2 Maxis, 3 Ash Blossom. This depends on the ratio, but this is what works for me. And then 2 Wyvern Burster and 1 Collapse Serpent. These cards are great because they are part of Chaos Space. So yeah, great package whether you want to start your combo, extend your plays, play through boards, all that good stuff. And then two Rokket Tracer and 1 Recharger. These cards are necessary to make the combo work. Otherwise, it's just not gonna happen. So you want to make sure to have at least 1 Tracer and 1 Recharger. I like having 2 Tracers because, say one of my Tracers gets banished, there's really no way for me to grab Recharger from the deck. And now, the second main combo starter is Seyfert. And this is more of a Dragon Link line, but that's fine because we are using Dragon Link as an engine for this deck. So Seyfert pretty much just lets you send a number of dragons from your hand and or field to the graveyard, and you can add a single dragon monster from your deck who has the same level as that. So say you have like a level 7 in your hand, you could send that to the graveyard and bring back a card like Noctovision. So yeah, I mean that's a standard Dragon Link line. But sometimes they'll send Seyfert itself and either grab Collapse Serpent or Wyvern Burster. But yeah, it depends on how the board is going and how the duel is going out. So yeah, like I said, it's a lot of freestyling. And then 1 Red-Eyes Black Meteor Dragon. This card is the sole reason why the Black Metal Dragon 1 card combo works so well, because of this card. And then we have 1 Magnum Hut, 1 Sarnier, 1 Druisworm. The reason why I don't have Baldrake in here is because there's really not a necessity anymore. And I mean, you can add it if you want, but personally, I haven't had a need to use Baldrake. And these are essentially DD Crows, they're extenders. You know, it synergizes with the deck very well. And there's no need to like put too much, like 3 or 2 Sarniers, 2 or 3 Lebellions. Like I said, we're not a pure Dragon Link deck. We're just using it as an engine to bring out our cards. And then I have 1 Blaster because of its effect to special summon itself from your hand or graveyard by banishing 2 fire and or dragon monsters from your hand or graveyard. And the second effect, which is kind of copium, but I like it because it lets you discard 1 other fire monster to the graveyard along with that card to pop 1 thing on the field. So say you have Ash and Blaster, you could use these 2 to just pop it, maybe like a skill drain or something like that. Obviously it's very cope, but like I said, everything in the deck synergizes with itself. And then we have Radiant Kaiju. I added this because of Pearly, and I can search it with Small World, so if I need to out a Nor, then yeah, I just search this one and boom. And then we have 1 Absol Router. So how this card works is if you send it to the graveyard, you can add 1 Rokket monster from your deck to your hand. And we usually discard Absol Router with this spell card called Dragon Ravine. And I'll go into the combos to explain that a little bit, but pretty much the premise is we want to send Absol Router so we could add Tracer most of the time. But depending on what your hand is, you might not have to do that. Like I said, it's a bunch of freestyling, so I'll show you what the other choices are going to be in the combos. And then we have 1 Noctovision Dragon. I like this card a lot. So the main thing is, say if a Dark Dragon monster special summon in your field, like right here, you can special summon this card from your hand. So say you have a level 7 in your hand, you have Seyfert on the field, you use Seyfert's effect, you send a level 7, and you get Noctovision to your hand. And so you link off Seyfert with Striker Dragon, and you can special summon it because of that. So just one of those standard Dragon Link lines. And if Noctovision becomes a link material, you can draw 1 card. So you could use that to either chain block or obviously get 1 more draw. And another effect that I like is when your opponent activates a card effect that targets a face down card, whether it's like a set monster, but that's not really going to be the case, or a set like spell or trap, like preferably Fogblade, then you can use Knock Division's effect to negate that. And for the rest of the turn, they can't target that face down card anymore. So I mean, that's a niche effect, but the other two are great ways of making more plays. Alright, and now we have one Meteor. This card is, you could probably change this card out because it's mainly just a small world bridge. But the thing with Meteor is, if your opponent special summons a monster with 2,000 or more attack from the extra deck, you can special summon this card from your hand and choose that monster and negate it as long as Meteor is on the field. And they can't negate this card's effects either, so that's pretty cool. And plus it's a level 7, so I chose that. But for the most part, it's just a small world bridge. And then we have one Red-EyesSoul. This card is part of the Black Metal Dragon combo that I was talking about, and it has a couple of effects. The first one is if your opponent special summons a monster, you can send this card from your hand or field, special summon one Red-Eyes from your hand or deck. There's going to be instances where you really don't need to do that, and the only effect we're trying to do is the burn effect, which is you can target one Red-Eyes Black Dragon you control and inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack. And that's pretty much the only reason why I use it, for that reason alone. But the way to use it, I like to combo with Recharger, but I'll be showing that with in the combos. And then we have one Bestial Rebellion. And because we aren't running pure Dragon Link, like I said, you don't need to have 2 or 3 Rebellions, it's fine with just one, because all we really need is plays. The Bestials still can be played as they're meant to be, but for the most part, they're probably just going to be extenders for you. And then we have one Nibiru. I like having one Nibiru whenever I have Maxi in my decks because it just seems like a waste, unless the meta calls for it to not have to use Nibiru, but I like having Nibiru all the time. So yeah, 1 for 1. This could be considered one of your starters, but don't rely on this being in your starting hand all the time. But yeah, I mean, having it is nice because you send a monster from your hand to the graveyard, you could bring out a Black Metal Dragon and your combo starts. So that's pretty good. And then the Red-Eyes Fusion. This is the one card you really don't want to draw in your hand. If you draw this in your hand, you're going to have to change your combo line, which I will show you what to do if you do draw this in your hand. But pretty much you can fusion summon a Red-Eyes monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand, deck, or field, and it becomes Red-Eyes Black Dragon. The only thing is you can't normal summon or special summon the turn you activate it, which is a big downside, which is why we run Verte to bypass that. And then next up, we have 3 Chaos Spaces. This is technically your third combo starter. And what it does is you can send a light or dark monster from your hand to the graveyard, and you can add a light or dark monster that can't be normal summoner set from your deck to your hand with a level from 4 to 8 with a different attribute than that monster. So for example, you drew the Kaiju in your hand and you can't start your combo. You use Chaos Space on the Kaiju and it's asking to add a monster with a different attribute from 4 to 8. And the only ones we can add, because they are light, is going to be Dubellion or Wyvern Burster, and that's how the combo starts. Or vice versa, say you only have Nibiru in your hand, you Chaos Space Nibiru, and the only one you can get is Collapse Serpent, and your combo still starts. And then the other effect though is if you have one of those monsters that can't be normal summoner set in your banished pile, you can banish this card from your graveyard, return that banished monster into your deck, and you draw 1 card from the deck. So it's just an all-around great card. I love having this at 3. This either helps me extend combos or start them, depending on whatever. Even play through board sometimes. So yeah. Alright, the next card is going to be Small World, and we have 3 of these. This is your 4th combo starter. It essentially lets you search any monster in your deck, granted you have the appropriate requirements for it. And pretty much the one card we usually want to search for is Black Metal Dragon, because this is our main combo starter. But at first, for people who have never used this card, it is very confusing. I don't blame you. It took a while for me to get used to this card, but once you get it down, it's going to be super easy. So pretty much the definition is reveal one monster in your hand, choose one monster from your deck that has exactly one of the same type, attribute, level, attack, or defense, and banish the revealed monster from your hand face down. Then add from the deck to your hand one monster that has exactly one of the same type, attribute, level, attack, or defense as the monster chosen from your deck, and banish the card chosen from the deck face down. So reveal one monster in your hand and one monster in your deck, and using these two, you can add one target monster from your deck. To break it down even better, the card you reveal from your deck is going to be considered the bridge card. And that's the card that's going to let you find whatever card you need in your deck. For example, say you only have Nibiru in Small World, we'll use Small World and we will choose Nibiru as a card in our hand. And since it's light, the only cards in my deck that will have one common thing with it is going to be Wyvern Burster, Rebellion, and Seyfert. And because we are trying to get Black Metal Dragon, the only thing that they have in common with Black Metal Dragon is that it's a dragon type. So say let's choose Seyfert, and then we can get Black Metal Dragon in our hand. And I'll go along and explain the combo lines you can go with as I do the combos. But yeah, that's pretty much a brief description of it. I know it's pretty confusing, but once I explain it in the actual combos, it'll make it much easier. Alright, next up is one Dragon Ravine. So pretty much what this card does is you can discard one card and then it lets you activate one of these effects. But the only effect we're going to need is the one that sends one dragon monster from the deck to the graveyard. And that's where we usually send Absterrouter so we can get a Rokket monster. But depending on how good your hand is, you won't even probably need to send Absterrouter, and instead you'd want to send Blaster. But these are just combo situations and it's very niche. Most of the time you're going to be sending Absterrouter regardless. But I'll be showing that in the combos. And then the next one is Boot Sector Launch. So it has two effects. The first one is you can special summon up to 2 Rokket monsters with different names from your hand in defense position. So like how we send Absterrouter to the graveyard with Ravine, and now we have a Tracer, we use Boot Sector to special summon our Rokket Tracer because we probably already used our Black Metal Dragon summon or a Seyfert summon. Pretty much our normal summon's gone. So that's how we get him onto the field and continue the combo. But there's also another effect where if your opponent controls more monsters than you and you have Rokket monsters in your graveyard, you can use that effect and special summon those Rokket monsters up to the difference, as long as they have different names. They both have to have different names, but I'll be showing how this works in the combos as well. Alright, next up is Branded Regained. This is part of the Bestial package. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what this does already. And next one is Quick Launch. You can special summon one Rokket monster from your deck, but it cannot attack and destroy it during the end phase. So pretty much it just summons another Rokket monster. But because I don't really use a bunch of Rokket monsters, I used to have 3 of this, but I cut it down to 1 because I only need these guys. And I usually get Tracer with Absterrouter. So yeah. And then 2 Call by the Grave, pretty much mandatory. 1 Fog Blade, and this is pretty much like an Imperm. You can banish this from your graveyard after you special summon /dragon, and you can search for this, add it to your hand, and this thing can negate cards like Underworld Goddess, Chaos Angel, all those cards. And then Branded Beast. Once again, you guys probably know what this does already. It's part of the Bestial package. Now for the extra deck, I have 1 Red-EyesSoul. I like this card a lot because it lets me get a Fog Blade and it has a target negate. And it's pretty cool. The one thing about this though, some people might prefer Comet Dragon, and that's fine. Having Comet Dragon over Slash means you're more consistent, but you don't really have protection. And if you have Slash, you have the chance of bricking a bit more, but it has a lot more protection. And the one interaction I like having with Slash is that it can use Savage's Link Equip to negate, but that still keeps Savage's Boral counters and negates active. The only thing it does is sends the Link Equip, which changes its attack, but it's fine. So pretty much this interaction was my favorite ever since, even before Borland came out. So yeah, I like having Slash and Savage. And then 1 Savage, great card. You can make this with a Rokket Tracer and Recharger, or Tracer, Wyvern Burster, Collapse Serpent, Seyfert, it's up to you. Or Synchron in the level 7, which is what I will show you how to do in the optimal combo, because that's how we actually get Savage out. And then we have 2 Red-Eyes Flare Metal Dragons. Some people might only want one of these and put in like Chaos Angel, but I never really had a need for that. And plus I like having 2 Flare Metals and burn my opponent for 8 moves while they struggle to out these 2 cards. It's pretty satisfying. And then these 5 cards right here, Pisty, Striker, Romulus, and Dillinger's, they're just part of the Dragon Link package. I'll explain what they do as I do the combo. So yeah. And then Hieratic Seals. I actually removed this a couple seasons ago, but because of this meta, this season Seals has actually saved me a lot. I've been able to play through a lot of nibs with Seals, and it's definitely recommended in the deck for sure. Because if I see their board light up once Romulus is summoned, I'm going straight into Seals. And then we have 1 IP Masquerena. She's great if you want to ever go into Borderland on the next turn, or if you want to use Underworld Goddess, or if you even want to have the destruction protection on access code. It's up to you guys. And then 1 Verte Anaconda to bypass the Red-Eyes fusion, because you really do not want to be drawing this card in your hand. 1 access code if you want to climb and pop their cards. I like to have this card in my deck all the time. Borderland, which is part of the Dragon Link engine, and it does this is probably your strongest boss monster for sure. And then last slot is Underworld Goddess. This is a flex spot. It's really up to you guys whether you want to change it or not, but I would recommend it because there's certain cards I can't out, like their own Underworld Goddess, Borderland, Chaos Angel, someone with a light monster, Avermax. You don't really see Avermax, but that's just one of the examples. And obviously I can counter their own Underworld Goddess or a Chaos Angel with Fogblade, but I don't want to rely on this to counter that, which is why I like having Underworld instead to out it. And it works really well with Masquerena because, for example, like Chaos Angel's effect says unaffected by monsters. The thing is, Underworld Goddess is a summon condition, so it's not an effect. So it works pretty well. But yeah, these are the card choices for the deck list, and I'll go over the combos right now. Alright, here is the first combo, well, the generic combo, the 1 card combo with Black Metal Dragon. First thing you want to do is normal summon Black Metal Dragon, and then you link it off into Striker Dragon, and then Striker's effect activates to get Boot Sector, and then you chain Black Metal Dragon's effect. And then you always want to grab Darkness Metal here. Even if you have more plays in your hand, you always want to get Darkness Metal here. Alright, and now we special summon Darkness Metal by banishing Striker Dragon. There we go. And then we use Darkness Metal's effect to special summon a dragon from our hand or graveyard. In this case, we'll pick Black Metal Dragon. And since Black Metal Dragon is on a once per turn, we will link both of these off into Romulus. Alright. And then Romulus's effect activates to grab Dragon Ravine. And we chain that with Black Metal Dragon. Right here, I always try to get Red-Eyes Black Meteor Dragon, just in case I have an Nibiru and I need to go into Seals. But you can do Soul, it's up to you. I just like doing this all the time. So let's grab Black Meteor Dragon. And then we add Ravine to our hand. So now we activate Ravine. And right here, we need to send 1 card from our hand, or we need to discard 1 card from our hand, so we can send 1 dragon monster from our deck to our graveyard. And you're always going to have a couple cards in your hand. So in this case, let's go do that. I'll go ahead and send the Kaiju. And right here, you always want to send Absol right here. Unless you have Tracer in your hand and you can make more plays, you always want to do Absol first. Because if you send it to the graveyard, he lets you add a Rokket monster from your deck to your hand. Alright, let's grab Tracer. And then we use Boot Sector. And then we activate Boot Sector's effect to special summon Rokket monsters from our hand. You only have Tracer, that's fine. Alright. Use Tracer's effect to pop Boot Sector. And then we special summon Recharger from our deck. And right here, you always want to make sure you have Recharger either in the field or on your graveyard for this combo to work. Or maybe even a banished pile, but that's for later combos. So pretty much, we'll link off Recharger and a Striker on the right side of Romulus. We don't use Romulus' second effect yet. And then we link off Tracer into Pisty. Right there. That way, both of the arrows are pointing towards the middle. So then we activate Pisty's effect to special summon one dragon monster that's banished or in our graveyard to two or more, to a zone where two or more link monsters are pointing to. So in that case, Striker and Pisty, we bring back Black Metal Dragon because it's not once per turn. Alright, and then we link off Pisty and Black Metal Dragon into Delinders. Right there. And now we can use Romulus' effect to special summon from our hand. Alright, we use that. And then we chain with Black Metal Dragon. And for Romulus' effect, the only way his effect activates is if a monster from the extra deck is special summoned to a zone that he's pointing to. In that case, Delinders. Let's go ahead and bring out, or add Red-EyesSoul. And then we use Romulus' effect to special summon Soul. And then right here, we activate Red-Eye's Black Meteor. Send a level 5 or higher normal monster. Special summon it, and then its stars go up to 7. And then we XCs this into Flare Metal. Alright, there we go. And now we use Striker's effect to pop one card. Let's pop Delinders, and let's bring back Recharger. And the reason we bring back Recharger is because it pretty much summons a monster from the graveyard with a different original name. As long as a dark monster that was special summoned from the extra deck is destroyed by battle, you can use its effect if it's in your hand or the field. So we use effect. We target Delinders as a name, and right here you always want to summon back a Rokket monster, whether it's Tracer or Recharger. So let's go Tracer. And then the reason for that is because Delinders effects activate, like his effect activates whenever a Rokket monster is special summoned in your field. You can special summon him back, but once he leaves the field, he's banished. That's fine though, because now we have enough links to make Borderland, and we need 3+ effect monsters for Borderland. So let's link off Delinders, let's link off Romulus, and then let's link off Striker. Alright, there we go. And now we negate Tracer using Borderland's effect to bring back Recharger. Alright. And right here, you can do one of two things. You can either make a Savage Dragon, or you can make a Verte. The only time I make Verte is if I know they have a deck that can climb into Underworld to pretty much get over my Borderland. In that case, I'll go Slash and have Fogblade for Underworld, but that's never really the case. So the safer play is always going to be Savage. So summon Savage. Alright. And then his effect activates. You can equip a Link monster. And depending on the link, it gains that many counters. There you go. And with this, I used to always summon these in defense mode, but because of the Cashier cards coming out, I put them in attack mode so I don't get some random card swinging over me. So, and then instant Soul to bring back normal Red Eyes. You don't have to do this. You could still have both materials on Flare Metal, but there's going to be a tech I'll show you guys with Red-EyesSoul and Recharger. But I'm going to have that for an actual duel with the real person, because trying to get that to work on AI is just not going to be practical. But yeah, that's pretty much the one card combo. You have a Flare Metal, you have a Borderland, and you either can get a Savage or a Verte, which means Slash or Comet. So yeah, that's the one card combo. And for this, we'll need a Rokket, and or 2 extenders. It depends. It's either you get a Rokket, whether it's Tracer, Synchron, Recharger, a Quick Launch, as long as you have one other card that can bring out a Rokket and activate its effect. And for the discard, I'll send the Kaiju. And then we still want to send Absorouter again. Absorouter's effect activates. You can add a Rokket monster. In this case, let's add Recharger. There we go. Now we play Boot Sector and activate its effect. Summon 2 Rokket monsters. Summon Tracer. Summon Recharger. And then we use Tracer's effect to pop Boot Sector. And this way we special summon Synchron. There we go. Now we're pretty much doing the standard play here. We link off whatever monster's on the right with Striker. And then we link off whatever monster's on the left of Romulus with Pistol. We don't always have to put Tracer right here. I just like it there. Alright, and then Pisty's effect activates. We bring back Black Metal Dragon. Alright, there we go. And then we link off both Pisty and Black Metal again into Delindrus. There we go. And now we use Romulus' second effect and chain that with Black Metal Dragon. And then we bring back Soul to our hand. And then we special summon Soul. And then right here, you do not want to summon Black Meteor because you're not going to have enough room. So just wait until Borderland is up. So now we use Striker's effect, pop Delindrus, bring back Recharger. Then Recharger's effect activates a special summon. We choose Delindrus, and that way we get another Rokket. So let's bring out Tracer. And then Delindrus effect activates special summon. And now we link off all our link monsters into Borderland. There we go. And then now you can actually special summon Red-Eyes Black Meteor Dragon. There we go. And then I always do Red-Eyes Black Meteor first at this stage because I want to summon Savage right after. So what we do, we XCs both Soul and Red-Eyes Black Meteor. Alright. And then we use Flare Metal's effect, send Soul. I always like to send Soul because you can tech it with a Recharger. Like I said, I gotta show that in another clip. Alright, and now we go into Savage using Synchron and Red-Eyes. There we go. And now we make Savage Dragon right here. And then his effect activates. And we use Romulus again. And then right here, we use Borderland Dragon's effect to negate Tracer. And you can bring back Synchron, Recharger, it's up to you because we're gonna be linking, we're gonna be linking these off in a Verte. Alright, link these two off in a Verte. There we go. And then this is pretty much the end of the play right here. You use Verte's effect. And alright, there you go. Send Red-Eyes Fusion. And the last Red-Eyes Black Dragon is for this reason right here. And then we summon Slash. There you go. And now we used up all our Red-Eyes cards. We have 2 vanilla Red-Eyes, Black Metal Dragon, Soul, Darkness, and Black Meteor is still attached to Flare Metal. And then we used Phantom Knights, send him so we can search for Fog Blade. And now we have pretty much the board that I like to go end on if I get the extra resources. I like doing this because there's balance, there's negates, there's burn damage, there's everything. And yeah. Alright, for this one, since this is still technically the 2-card combo with Black Metal Dragon and Rokket, instead of having a Slash Dragon, we can instead have 2 Flare Metals. And as of right now, this is the only consistent way I've been able to get this board. Because getting 2 Flare Metals is harder than the other combos I showed earlier. And then this time, when we send whatever card we're going to send with Ravine, we don't send Absol Router. Instead of sending Absol Router, we send Blaster. Because Blaster is the only way we get a consistent double Flare Metal board. So, pretend that's a Rokket. If it wasn't a Rokket, I just do Quick Launch. If it was a Rokket, I summon Boot Sector. So now, I pop Ravine. Now this is the same combo line as well. So I'm just going to play through it until we get to Borland. Then Romulus effect, and then get Black Widow, get Soul. Alright, there you go. And we go Borland here. Also, it doesn't matter when you make Flare Metal as long as you have enough zones on the board. Alright, now let's go do it. Alright, Flare Metal Dragon. And Soul. Bring back Red-Eyes. And then we use Blaster's effect on the graveyard where you can banish 2 monsters. And you can special summon him. And then you get another Flare Metal. There you go. And then Borland effect, negate Tracer, special summon Recharger. And right here, it's the same issue, whether you want to go Verte or Savage. I'm always going to pick Savage here. And yeah, there we go. So depending on what you want your board to be, with the 2 card combo, it's either you want Slash or you want another Flare Metal, and it's honestly up to you. Whatever board you want to make, as long as you have both the Rokket and Black Metal, you can make these 2 boards. For this one, I'm going to show you how to use Small World. Like I said, the bridge card has to have only one similarity with the card revealed in your hand and the target card you're adding. So, alright, so out of all these, which ones would have the practical use? Oh, which ones would we be using? Probably everything else except for Miradora. So let's go to Small World. Alright, let's choose Miradora. This is going to be the one we activate in our hand. And so now the card we choose here is going to be the bridge. So we could choose Radiant, because the only thing it's going to have in common with Black Metal Dragon is that it is dark. Or we could choose Wyper Burster, because the only thing in common is its dragon. We could also choose Seifert, because the only thing in common is a dragon. So in this case, I would personally pick Seifert, because I could still probably draw this kaiju. So let's go ahead and pick Seifert. Alright, this is going to be the bridge for us to get Black Metal Dragon. There we go. And now we can pick Black Metal Dragon. It's that simple. Right, and then for this one, this hand kind of sucks going first. Low-key, not even low-key, this hand does suck going first. The only play we'd actually have is Red-Eyes Fusion. And what if they ash that? What if they even ash the Small World? But just for the sake of the video, say this is the only 2 you have in your hand. Unfortunately, we don't have any bridges to Max C, but we do have a bridge to Ash because of her defense and the attack. So let's go ahead and play that. Alright, we'll use Ash. And all these share similarities. This one, because of the defense, because Ash has 1800 defense. This one has 0 attack, which has similarities with her attack. And this one, because it's a level 3. And she's also a level 3. So in this case, I'll just banish a Wyvern Burster. So this one's going to be the bridge right here. And the only thing it's going to have in common with Black Metal Dragon is the fact that it's a dragon. So there you go. And boom, we can search Black Metal Dragon. The combo starts once again. you.